Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stand in just temporarily for our monitoring officer who will have to take an urgent call. Can you please note that this meeting will be recorded for subsequent broadcast via the authority's internet site. The images and sound recording may also be used for training purposes within the authority. The public seating areas will be in view of the camera, and by entering the chamber and using the public seating area, members of the public are consenting to be filmed and to the possibility of using those images and sound recordings as outlined above. Thank you.
Are there any apologies for absence, please? Declarations of interest, and may I bring your attention to Part A and Part B? None? Right, on to item number 3 then, budget requirement and council tax 1718. State of Council debate, and I understand it's the leader to take this.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, this is in fact the State of the Council speech, and I hope members will bear with me for as long as needs be, and I hope they've brought suitable refreshments. We could be some time. Madam Mayor, the budget for 2017-18 has once again been set in an extremely challenging financial climate as a result of unrelenting and continued punitive measures imposed by the central UK Conservative government. Local government in Wales is yet again faced with unprecedented funding reductions, with Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council's funding for 2017-18 reduced by 0.5% or £446,000 in cash terms, against a backdrop of rising inflation and additional burdens from further legislation. Madam Mayor, despite this, we continue to provide vital services and we have protected those in greatest need. All our departments do the very best they can under very difficult circumstances, and in many cases are the envy of colleagues across Wales. For example, the local resilience unit, or as many of us would know it, the emergency planning, has again been approached by Cardiff City Council and Welsh Government to support the planning and preparation of the UEFA Champions League finals held in the Principality Stadium in June. This follows on from the good work undertaken by the Resilience Unit during the NATO Summit of 2014. Working in collaboration with Welsh Government, the Resilience Unit helped develop a Pan-Wales strategic training and qualification back in 2016, and this will shortly be delivered throughout the UK as best practice. The Council's Planning and Countryside Division continues to lead the way as the top performing authority in Wales. This has seen permission granted for the construction of a new bus station and public realm improvements at the former police station and the Hollies Health Centre. The division also continues to support the leisure and tourism sector by granting permission for the construction of 23 additional mountain bike trails to support the Bike Park Wales' further expansion plans, and redevelopment of Rock UK to provide short-stay accommodation and conference facilities. 100 open market houses have been permitted across the county borough over the last year, along with 50 affordable houses. The county borough's rich heritage stock continues to be restored and conserved, with listed building consent granted for 115 High Street, Merthyr Tydfil, and St John's Church in Dowlais. The Council is the first authority in Wales to use the Google Tracker loan programme following a successful bid by the Planning and Countryside Department, and this allows people to virtually view local landscape and heritage along trails and paths on the Google Street View. The Housing Renewal Team continues to attract significant inward investment for the benefit of all citizens of Merthyr Tydfil. In 2016-17, the team secured £850,000 of inward investment from a variety of sources to fund free external wall insulation and other energy efficient measures to 90 homes located in Pennerbryn. This year also marks the end of the Council's very successful Renewal Area programme, which has seen 3 wards benefit from over £23 million of direct grant investment from Welsh Government since 2001, which in turn stimulated a further £70 million of additional investment through the Council, the private sector and our partner agencies. During the 16-year life of the programme, more than 1,000 homes have benefited from repair and improvement works, and more than 250 neighbourhood improvement schemes were completed. Significant improvements have been made in waste management in relation to achieving the Welsh Government recovery and landfill division targets. In 2015-16, the Council provisionally exceeded the Welsh Government recovery target of 58% by attaining a very credible 61.58%. This was almost a 10% increase on the previous year's recovery rate. Good progress has continued into 2016-17 with a projection of 64% to be achieved by the end of the year. If this level of performance is retained, then the Welsh Government target for 2019-20 will be met 3 years earlier than required. Members will be aware of a £2 million project to replace the expansion joints on Fiddler's Elbow Viaduct, which was financed and delivered in collaboration with colleagues from RCT County Borough Council, and this was completed in December 2016. Cyfarthfa Park is nearing the end of a major 4-year redevelopment made possible by £3.1 million of investment from the Heritage Lottery Fund, Welsh Government, Cadw and the Council. Achieving green flag status was one of our long-term aims, and this status was achieved in July 2016. The presentation of a prestigious Green Flag Award to Cyfarthfa Park is a reward for the work carried out by the Council and Merthyr Tydfil Leisure Trust to further restore this historic facility. From an economic development perspective, a range of programmes are successfully being delivered across the County Borough. The Economic Development Team has developed the 2016-18 Destination Management Plan, which sets out priorities for delivery and will provide a blueprint for the next 3 years. A key component and prominent programme within economic development is the Vibrant and Viable Places programme, a Welsh Government regeneration initiative that allocated £12.8 million to fund projects in Merthyr Tydfil from 2014 through to 2017. The programme has been extremely successful and has created over 100 jobs, has restored a number of historic buildings in the town centre, bringing them back into use, and created a number of residential units, both private and social. In 2015-16, the outcomes for the children and young people of Merthyr Tydfil continued to rise for the 4th year in a row. For the first time, pupils' performance is above the Welsh average at ages 7, 11 and 14. And while the gender gap was growing across Wales as a whole, it is now narrowing in the primary schools across Merthyr Tydfil, a wonderful achievement by our Education Department and the practitioners throughout our schools. The progress that pupils made from primary school to the end of secondary school continues to be significantly better than expected. The standards for those leaving school at 16 has also risen, and performance in several indicators is above the national average. In the most important indicator, the level 2 threshold, including English, Welsh and Maths, A star to C, our 16-year-olds have improved by over 21% since 2012, when compared to the rest of Wales has improved by 9%. We continue to prioritise education so that we can meet our ambition of being amongst the top performing authorities in Wales. And by investing in our young people, we are investing in the future of the County Borough of Merthyr Tydfil. The Social Services and Wellbeing Act 2014 was implemented in April 2016, and the change in practice, policy and service delivery required is progressing well and is being embraced locally and nationally. One of the principles of the Act was to ensure that support is offered at the earliest opportunity, and as a result of Family First, Flying Start, Community First and Team Around the Family are now under Social Services Directorate. In this respect, a Tackling Poverty strategic group has been established, and it is intended that a more efficient and effective use of resources can be developed to drive key priorities for the Council and the poverty agenda. Madam Mayor, in conclusion, I would like to thank all members of the Council, officers and staff of the authority for their continued support, particularly in such difficult times of decreasing finance, and for delivering high-performing services for the citizens of the County Borough of Merthyr Tydfil. Madam Mayor, I have now a pleasure in moving recommendations 2.1 through to 2.7 of the report.
Madam Mayor, I second the motion, but could I reserve the right to speak until later in the debate if I so wish?
Are there any questions, please? Councillor Thomas?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just on page 10, there's a list there of sort of capital programmes, and there's one which I'm interested in simply because it's within my ward, which is the Pentoin-Dainter Bridge. Can one assume that since it's in there, that money will be found in the next financial year for those repairs to be undertaken?
Richard, the issue of the bridge down in Pentoin-Dainter is a difficult one to pronounce. Yeah, that money is there, and as soon as that money can be expended on the bridge, it will do so in order to put right the inconvenience that residents of that area have had for, I think it's 3 years now. It's a long time. It will be done.
Any other questions, please? Comments? Councillor Thomas?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I doubt there would be anyone in this chamber who would disagree with me when I say that throughout this period of a Labour administration, the independent group has always taken the strong view that we're a full council of 33 elected members put here to collectively serve our community of Merthyr Tydfil. Our view has always been that we should offer a realistic and constructive opposition, and we have supported previous budgets and not played politics with financial cuts over the totality of which the Council has no control. Madam Mayor, we've been through and will continue to go through a fallow period of economics with centrally imposed cuts to our budget that have cut deeply into the philosophy of local authority service to the community. It almost seems that those in central government have little or no understanding of the importance to the community of locally provided services. It has not been a time of growth or celebration, very much the opposite. It has meant cuts to services, or indeed the complete removal of services that communities have come to expect and heavily rely on. No one in this chamber, Labour or opposition, can possibly fail to understand why those who are elected are highly critical of the service changes where services are disappearing altogether. As an independent group, we've always understood the difficulties encountered by the leadership Labour group. There have been many occasions when we have stood shoulder to shoulder with them, understanding the difficulties, and have not tried to make mischief or look for one-upmanship in the area of local politics. We understand that the cuts are being forced upon us as a council, and that many of the difficult decisions would need to be made no matter who was in charge. I've always said that it would be hypocritical to criticise decisions made by the leader and his cabinet when others in the same position would find themselves having to make similar decisions regarding services and jobs. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Any further comments? Can I put it to the vote then, please? That's carried, thank you. Item number 4, Council Tax Resolution 2017-18, and I believe it's the Deputy Leader to take that.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If I can refer members to page 49 of the bundle, and you'll see set out there in paragraphs 1.1 to 1.3 a summary of the report. This obviously is a statutory report that we have to present every year for you. It contains an awful lot of financial information, and I hope members have understood the data. If not, I'm sure we'll be able to answer any questions. It now falls on me to turn to page 53, Appendix 1, and read out the whole of the appendix for members to be aware of what they're deciding tonight, not. The recommendations, Madam Mayor, are on page 49, 2.1, which does make reference to Appendix 1, and I hope members will have read the paperwork before coming to the meeting, because all I'm asking you tonight is to agree, actually, to the recommendations 2.1 to 2.4. I move.
Can I have a seconder, please?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'm happy to second, and I may decide to speak later on in the debate.
Any questions, please? Comments? Councillor Thomas?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Of course, I'm delighted to read that the council tax rise, in spite of being set out in all preceding council papers as 3.5%, will now be set at 2.9%. However, the cynic in me might suspect that there are elections taking place in the next few weeks, and it might be a safe bet that this figure will be put forward in some form in election manifestos. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Madam Mayor, if I may respond to that then, please. It's actually just sharing the good news. As the leader said in the previous report, the Welsh Government, the Labour Welsh Government, capped our decrease in our amount given to us to a level of 0.5%. It could have been worse. And I will refer members to page 7 of the report, where the last bullet point on 610 says Welsh Government's indication that the 2017-18 revenue settlement is as good as it gets, with potential significant reductions in 2018-19. What we're doing this year is, as I said, sharing the good news that the Welsh Government has given us. We cannot project what's going to happen in future years, but if that paragraph stands and if the Welsh Government's proposals and promises stand, we are in for one heck of a difficult time in subsequent years.
Any further comments, please? Can I put it to the vote? Oh.
In view of what Councillor Thomas has said, I have heard what he said, and I'd never accuse you of being a cynic, Richard. Not in a month of Sundays would I do that. But as the Deputy Leader has said, Madam Mayor, the Cabinet Secretary for Local Government Finance, Mark Drakeford, has said in the Welsh Local Government Association conference back last November that 18-19 on will be unbelievably difficult. We've had an extremely tough time over the last 5 years, and in the number of years leading up to it, it was always on the cards that this was going to be the situation that we're going to be finding ourselves in. But on the point of council tax, Madam Mayor, I've got the figures in front of me. I thought Councillor Thomas may raise the issue of council tax, and I'll just remind him that that when the Independents set the council tax in 2009-10 against a positive adjustment of 2.24% uplift in the budget, the Independents set 3.9% council tax at that time. In 2010-11 it was 3.6 against a positive adjustment. In 2011 it was 3.2, and lo and behold, in an election year, Richard, it was 2.2. And I know you wouldn't use that. You wouldn't use that against us either, would you? But those are the facts, Madam Mayor, and as I said, I'm more than happy to second the Deputy.
Any further comments, please? Harvey?
I don't think I can leave Councillor Thomas get away with the comments that he made regarding the reason for the low council tax that has been set by this council. If he chose to go to page 4, he will see there that we consulted with members of the public. It was a very, very important consultation exercise that we carried out, because here we were asking the members of the county borough what they believed the council tax increase should be. And if he tends to look at figure 1, he will see that as far as over 4% is concerned, that was basically ruled out by the public. They came down, as far as the overall result was concerned, they came down looking at something between 2 and 4%. And what is better when you come in between 2 and 4%? The average of that is 3. We have gone to 2.9. So there's nothing untoward in the figure that we've set, only to say that we sat back and listened to what was coming forward from members of the public, and we've acted accordingly.
Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So clearly, picking up what Councillor Jones and the leader has said, you can see the difficulty we faced. By the way, just remind you that over the last 4 years, we've had to pull out £30 million worth of cuts from our budget, and yet we're still maintaining frontline services, social services and education. So all in all, this last 4.5 years, from my point of view, has been very, very difficult, but certainly very rewarding in that we were able to maintain our services. Can I also say to members that although it's an increase, the effect of the increase is set out in the report on page 4, in that for Band D taxpayer it's going to cost them an equivalent to 78 pence per week or £40 per annum, which is the best we can do in the circumstances. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Any further comments, please? All right. Can I put it to the vote then? That's carried, thank you. Any other items, number 5, to deal with? Any other urgent business? I believe, Mike, you've got something you'd like to say?
Yes, please. Thank you, Madam Mayor. At its last Estin inspection, Goitra Primary School were judged as requiring significant improvement. Estin have now completed their monitoring inspection, and they've judged that the school has made good progress, and so they've been taken out of a category of concern. So it's excellent news, obviously, for all the pupils and the staff and the whole Gunners community. So I wanted to share that with everybody. Thanks.
Item number 6, to receive any communications from Her Worship the Mayor. I have none. So thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Safe journey home.